morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses. Maggie Wolfendale and Andy Serling on what has been a pretty fun opening weekend here in Saratoga. I feel like we've had it all so far. Fun races, excellent racing, the stakes, just all around good stuff.
It's been so competitive. Our fields are big. We saw, such close finishes going back to the Belmont Derby yesterday. So that just speaks to how competitive it is.
I agree. And I thought one of the crazy things, and I didn't pick the horse at all, and I was talking before the race, I was saying to Chad about it, like the Godolphin horse was crazy over bet. How is the Godolphin horse 6-5? And I said to him, whatever price this horse is, how is this horse 6-5 and the eventual winner 23-1? And I'm not red boarding. I didn't like the winner, but I don't understand what the big difference between those two horses was.
I agree, and obviously the Godolphin horse yesterday, she just ran off.
That was she was 20-1 the first turn, right? I mean, she had no chance. If you bet her, you could have ripped your tickets up.
Yeah, but I mean, Joel Rosario announced his presence back here in New York in a big way yesterday.
Yeah, and I was so happy to see Joel. As you know, Joel. I mean, I know he takes some criticism, and sometimes he deserves it because of inconsistency, but he can do no wrong in my book. He was
in the zone yesterday.
Yes, he was
in Joel's zone, which usually delivers some spectacular rides.
And the track, obviously, it's possible to argue against it being a big inside track on Friday, and I think the speed figures back that up. I didn't get a chance to look at the numbers. I don't know if they were out. They weren't out late last night.
They weren't.
But I know there were some races. Obviously, Phileas Fogg got away with a very slow pace.
Yeah,
but
relatively speaking.
There are too many races where outside closers and outside runners did well.
I mean,
to
how
say
about
we
the
had
other race that Joel won?
Right, the 10th race.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially a mild dirt race where those kind of things never happen, seemingly.
So, no, it seemed like it got a lot more fair as of yesterday. And that's kind of how it went Belmont week, too. It just seems like we need to race on it. They need to, obviously work it a bit more. When it kind of lies dormant, that's when you see those biases.
I agree. And the other thing is, dirt racing, especially up here, is often going to be very favorable to forwardly placed horses. So to get overly caught up, and sometimes, I was talking with Tony about this earlier, when I'm doing the track trends, and I don't like to go overboard. It's like, sometimes you say, well, I know speed was dominant today, but a series of short-priced horses were winning with good trips in the front end. Was there a speed bias, or was it just a day of logical results?
Yeah.
You've got to find horses that badly underachieve against a theoretical bias or badly overachieve with the bias.
Correct.
Like a Hit the Post who ran that 98 Beyer. Now, he's a good horse. That was back on Belmont week. He did not run particularly well here, I think, on Friday.
Right.
What is a bias-aided performance? It's part of handicapping.
Yeah, exactly. So
should we get going?
Hopefully we have none of those today. Let's do it.
We are not going to give picks for the first race, and we'll go
you don't
through
want
the
our
slates.
picks.
But
you want Joe Clancy.
I do love that we have the Leo O'Brien and the Harvey pack today.
Yeah.
And we'll talk a little about Leo in just a moment. But head over to Naira Bets, use the promo code SPA200. We'll match with $200 of your initial deposit. We have lots of stuff. Picks at carryover, $185,000. There was nobody alive in the last race, so $185,090. That'll start race 4 of our 9-race card. Obviously, talk more about that. A $10 bonus. You bet 50 or more here and Woodbine. What else do we have? A signed pennant. It's not a giveaway. It's more of a contest. You've got to text WIN to 467-737. My question is, we've got Irad, we've got Pratt, and this is no disrespect to Frankie Dettori, but he's not running here.
He's not riding here.
He's not running anywhere, right?
But, I mean, to be fair,
I gotta say, he's a big name.
We're talking about this. He is kind of a legend in the game, so
he is a legend in the game. He's not kind of. He is a legend in the game.
So
no doubt.
I get why people might want that.
And Irad, I think, is supposed to be back Saturday. I know he's not listed on Friday.
He's not running Friday.
He's not listed on Friday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so he should be back, and
I can't wait.
His brother is looking to, and others, to build a bit of a lead on him going forward. What else do we have? We have the cross-country Big 5. Monmouth is running. 2 at Monmouth, 3 here. 3 of those races will be stakes. And we are on from 1 to 6 on FS1 all day long. We'll show Rocket Run when we look at the Leo O'Brien, who finished second, a tough beat for the Clancy crew, and Marshall Graham, 10 Strike Racing. Take a drink. We have a joke on the show that whenever somebody says 10 Strike Racing, Jonathan,
take a shot.
We take a shot. I love that this race named for Leo, and Leo obviously a hugely successful trainer, and especially popular up here, training 4-Star Dave. A lot of other good horses like 4 Stars All-Star, who he won the Irish Guineas with. An achievement at the time he never got the credit for he deserved.
That's unheard of, and that has never been done.
He ran
before?
a week later after running at Belmont, and I think
Belmont.
losing and winning the race. And
Exactly, and won the Irish Guineas.
I was reading a really
And had to take a ship.
Yeah. Run a week later. You know, and the thing is, you know, Leo, I was reading an interview with Leo that took place later, and he was saying, you know, I was surprised it didn't seem to get much coverage over here.
Yeah.
If that happened now,
No.
it would be the talk of racing
Exactly.
everywhere. And I just don't think back then Americans as a whole in racing paid as much attention to European racing as we do now.
I agree. It was funny because I think during that era is when owners kind of started picking up and realizing that bringing over some of these pedigrees, it's always gone in waves
Yes.
of us going over there and sourcing their horses or them coming here and sourcing our horses. But I think now, because we do go over and buy so many of their horses, we pay so much more attention to the racing, to the results.
Yeah, no, I agree. Right, right. It's
Exactly.
becoming, and you know, it's not to dwell on this forever, but we were talking a little bit in the show yesterday about the Turf Triple, which was a product from Martin Panzas. I actually agree with Martin. I don't, and
I
I
do
know
too.
you. I don't understand why there's no interest. I understand where the money is, but in turf stallions here, especially given the number of people that are going overseas and buying European pedigrees, why I don't.
Well, think about the lasting impression that Kitten's Joy has had on our
Absolutely.
bloodlines here.
And look at how well Oscar Performance is doing now, but
exactly.
Kitten's Joy for sure. And you know, I remember Boyd Browning from Fast Tipton was on my old radio show with me one day, and they had a turf sale, I think in September, that had gone very badly. And I brought it up, and he said,
I know, Todd.
it was like one of my dumbest ideas, he said to
No.
me. And I said, no, it wasn't. It wasn't a bad idea. It didn't work. And this
right.
industry too often has the inability to see beyond an idea not working that's still not necessarily a bad idea and finds ways to revisit it going forward.
I wish they would bring that back. My husband, personally speaking, loved it and got some good horses for relatively minimal cost. So I see where Boyd Browning and Phasing.
No, listen, I'm
it might
not.
have
Boyd
been a
knows how to run Fast
disaster,
Tipton. He
but-
doesn't need my help to do it. I just feel like this knee-jerk reaction, this industry of it didn't work, so
it's
therefore it was a
turf.
bad
Yeah,
idea.
exactly.
Many good ideas fail at first.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it was bad. Anyway,
We've
I'm
gone
excited
way off
that
topic.
we got off topic. We're thrilled about Leo. Obviously, it's it's pretty cool, and I mean, people realize that John Velasquez is his son-in-law. Leona will be here. Keith
I'm gonna
O'Brien as
interview
well. Interviewing.
Leona.
Okay, that's cool.
For the
Leona Velasquez, who's Leo's daughter. Michael, his grandson, works with us, so that's pretty cool. And Leo, if you knew Leo, he was just
he's
a
such a
really nice
kind,
man. So
kind
we're
man.
looking forward to that race. And Joe Clancy and Liza Hendricks will be around to give us some help with that, some actual knowledgeable people. Race number 2, I guess it's a question of, do you want firsters? And there seems some live ones. I don't think racehorse is impossible, even though I don't really have in the mix. We only have one TV. That's right. That's why I'm not seeing it.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. I have to see
Yeah,
look over
I
here
know,
to
it's
see
right
our
in
picks.
my
You've
line of
gone to the
sight.
one that has experience besides racehorse for Linda. I don't know what to do with this horse, Maggie.
So my theory is that, to me, looking at this horse doesn't really look like a turf horse. I think he is more of a dirt horse and ran in a, you could see both sides of the coin, Party in the Army. Is okay. He controlled that day, was favored, and this horse he was attending the pace, but then he just stopped. It almost looked as though he bled, or obviously something went wrong, hence the layoff. He comes back, Linda kind of gears him up, gets him a little fitter with another turf run, but looking at the workout reports, the DRF workout reports, this horse has been working with some accomplished horses in Linda's barn, including the Cruiser, who was good at least last year, Royal Bobby. They're not bad horses, and he has been going very nicely, and I've always just been interested in giving this horse another shot on the dirt.
In a way, he's like a Linda second-time starter that she prepped on turf first time and now comes back here.
Right.
And he has dirtied up form. I
Right.
think he's a horse. It's either a terrible pick or a very good pick.
I agree, because
which is fine. A lot of picks
So
are terrible. You
I
can't
wanted
worry
to-
about that.
I thought about going to a firster, but there were things that kind of, I wasn't so sure
Jenna's
about.
horse is working pretty well. And
No.
she's been very live.
That's not necessarily true, actually.
What, the fast works aren't necessarily good?
The workout reports say this horse has tons of early speed, but then struggles to finish.
Okay, that's good information. That's why looking at times is bad. You've got a Tis the Law for Brad Cox. I have to one of my favorite horses, Yo Banana Boy.
Love Yo Banana Boy, but did you look up Brad's NYRAS stats with his older first-time starters?
I did not.
2 for 25.
I have a question. Do you separate Brad's NYRA stats
100%.
between New York and Saratoga?
Well, no,
I
No,
always
that's
separate New
true.
York because I
That's
want
fair.
sometimes he brings horses here that aren't the ones they have in New York.
Exactly.
Now this one I'm sure they did, so it probably fits. You know what I mean?
He's been working at Belmont, and two, it seems like okay, separating the.
You know what I'm
Naira,
saying? In other words,
Saratoga-
Brad is more
Right.
involved up here than he is during the rest of the year.
True, but I also thought, the horses that I wanted to separate the age because a lot of times the horses here are the 2-year-olds.
Completely agree.
Right.
Great
So,
point, right.
I didn't love that stat with him as far as a first-time starter. Dave Donk's horse has actually got the best reports.
I thought I think David picked this horse, so I was wondering that. I talked to him today. I meant to ask him.
And I mean, it is a little bit more turf meant, but because it's counterintuitive, I thought it was a positive sign that he debuts this horse on the dirt, which, Dave, he's more inclined to run a horse on the turf.
And I love the Very Unstable. It is
Isn't it great?
my favorite
It's the
stable name
greatest.
in history is the Very Unstable. I went to the horse for Chad on the rail
I get it.
because this horse took money, chased last time. I have no
Against the
memory
track.
whether he liked this horse, was against the track, was an inside speed edge that day,
He just
comes
looked
back as a gelding, and it just seems like these horses he brings back are live, long layoffs or not.
Yeah, and he was wired by Mo for the King, who just strung out a field,
Right.
and he was chasing, and it looked like on the turn he started kind of crossfiring, getting a little green there, and then Manny just wrapped up on him.
Yeah.
He is dangerous. I have him second. So
All right, see what happens in the second. Race number 3. You and I both picked Always Angels, who I think is absolutely the horse to beat in here.
Yeah.
I think the one concern is there isn't a lot of pace in here, right? And the 5 and 6
No.
with the scratch of the 7 are kind of in
Right.
front, but I don't know. I think Jamie
She's
can try to get
tactical
this horse
speed.
closer in here.
Yeah,
I don't want to get too
She
caught
looks
up
to be
in that.
sitting right off the 5 and 6, right?
I mean, she's an Arctic Queen. I tried last time. She was atrocious in a bad field. And Princess Becca, I don't know. I guess the thing is there, Princess Becca, we did see Noda win the other day, I think off the claim, and he has won some races up here off the claim.
Yes.
That's why I
what
put him
makes
second.
Princess Becca dangerous. I just did not like her last effort whatsoever. She was
I
with
agree.
the racetrack. It was 4 less. I get these connections. He gets Jose Ortiz on, so I can see why.
I
this
worry
horse
she
might
could
be
turn it
appealing.
around, but based on her last race, she's very hard to like.
And it's not like, okay, his horses were running okay throughout this season. So I just wanted horses that had been facing a bit better.
I thought Kyle's Mon, who you have second,
I
who I
think-
did not put in there, is dangerous in
Yeah.
here. I'm just not sure. The good figures are a little random for me.
And they're not as good as some of the other horses' best races.
Has there been a count given on how many of the dollar hot dogs Jeremiah had yesterday? He
Maya,
gave me an
please feel
over-under
free to chime
early
in.
today.
Maya?
He'll probably text me.
Yeah. He'll come through. He usually does.
Yeah, he
I'm a little mad about that, Andy.
you didn't get one.
You guys scarfed him down. I'm out here starving in the paddock.
You could have come up. Somebody should
You
have
should
brought
have
you.
sent Uncle Sam into the paddock for me.
I really do. Uncle Sam wants you, Maggie.
You're gonna leave that one there.
Walked right into that one, didn't you? All right, we'll move on. Race number 4 kicks off the pick 6 with a carryover of $185,090. That's the first biggest. Only in Saratoga we get those carryovers off of a weekday. And I think it's an interesting sequence. And I will say before we talk about the ones that ran, Chad does think Commitment Fund. He did tell me that he thinks he's okay. He didn't say I
Really?
can't lose. I know. I'm just, listen, I impart information. I don't want people to think I'm withholding information. And in this case, he didn't say, oh, he can't lose, he's a killer. He said, hey, he's pretty good, he can run. So I'm just letting people know that they do think he's live in here.
Okay,
And
I mean,
I
I was
don't want to
going
be
to-
accused of withholding information, that's all.
No, and he's been keeping some good company in the mornings. I watched that workout 2 back. He was with Unit Economics.
Yeah, I heard that.
Who is
He's
an
still
upper
around,
level
apparently?
allowance horse. Yes. But he looked like in 6.5 can be a variable distance where it can go either way. It can be a speed horse. I just didn't think he looked like a horse that had an abundance of speed. He looked like a horse that almost wanted a little bit more ground. And really, as much as I love Silver State as a racehorse, he has not been a good
I
starter
know.
so
No, listen, I was surprised, to be honest. I mean, I looked at this one as the least likely, and
Yeah.
of the runs he's running for Carvage today, and he thinks the horse is going to run okay. Now, listen,
Okay.
this is not an easy field, and
No, it's a-
starting with Party Animal.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Running third last time, I thought this horse ran well last time. I don't have
I
any
thought he
problem
was
with this horse at
complete-
all.
He was against the racetrack. He stayed on well. I mean, it was, it was evening out a little bit at that point on Friday, but still, he was wide for Jenna. And I think this horse, his 2 dirt races, make him a major player in this spot.
And I'll say something else about Jenna. She overachieves. I know people are
100%.
looking and saying she's winning at 9%.
No,
she does
I
not
don't.
exactly have a barn full of $1 million racehorses. And, and that's one of the things about her accomplishments with Arcangelo was he cost $35,000. I mean, it is not easy to win any races with those horses, and to win big races. I know he had a good pedigree, but a lot of people knew he had a good pedigree, and nobody wanted to buy him.
Jenna, she knows I'm a big fan of hers, and I always respect anything.
Yeah, I
she
think,
sends
you
over.
can look at trainers that are 10% trainers that are bad, and look at 10% trainers that are overachieving. And I think she overachieves all around.
100%.
This horse is good. You like the 2 sidearm, who I agree. He's an interesting horse getting back to the dirt, because his 1 dirt race, he didn't really run that badly.
He didn't, and especially, kind of through the crux of the winter there at Gulfstream, you didn't want to be on the inside. And this horse, while on the backside he was kind of a little bit more out, those early leaders, which included the winner, included the favorite
Around
as
the
well,
middle
kind of
track.
folded over onto him, pushing him over to the rail, and then he just kind of folded. And the horses in there really weren't that bad. I mean, First Call,
agree.
Bob came back and ran an 85. Love Liam came back and won with an 81. And while there is pedigree for turf, he's a half to New York bred Offering Plan. Very good
Oh,
New York
yeah,
bred
yeah.
stakes horse for
Mike Dubb.
Chad Brown.
And Mike Dubb, yeah.
This horse's full sister, Candy Isle, is a multiple stakes winning dirt sprinter, albeit out in like New Mexico or whatever, but still, that was enough for me. And by the reports with this horse, he has been working really well in the mornings. Could it be a morning glory? Of course, but I just can't resist this horse.
Well, his
getting
form
back
is
to the
good.
dirt.
It's not like he's been on a different surface, but I think he's been running well. I agree. I think his dirt race is fine. I took Holy Seven. I just think, we'll take a look at this horse, the last 3/8 of his race last time. I know he didn't get bet that heavily for a $700,000 Steve Asmussen horse last year. I thought this horse really ran in here. He made a big move to try to win it. And he just, it's one of those situations where I think almost in trying to win, they cost second.
lost,
He
yeah.
probably ran second, the second best race coming here for Steve. I just thought this is the kind of horse that Steve's bringing here that's probably going to run well.
Yeah, and we're going to see him lug in pretty badly, which hence
Yes.
the long layoff there. This is only a second start now as a mid-season 3-year-old. So, yes, he costs a lot of money. I wouldn't be surprised if this horse does have some talent. I chose to go with some horses that have a bit more recency in Party Animal and Sidearm in here. Spherical I thought was a little bit interesting, but there's so much more turf pedigree. But this horse reportedly
know.
has been working very well, and in those turf races kept some very good company.
I don't disagree with that stuff. He's just a hard horse to. This is not an easy race. I'm
No,
not
this is
saying it's
not-
going to get a 90 buyer.
Yeah.
But
No,
this is a
good.
pretty competitive race.
Agreed.
And that's why I think, sort of with the 3, with the first time starter, he's not going to win this race in all likelihood running a 68 buyer. He's probably going to have to run closer to an 80.
Exactly.
So we'll see. All right, race number 5, and we'll break after 5. I mean, I don't, want to chalk it out, but
Oh, I chalked it out. But
I mean,
what
capricious
else are we doing
outcome.
here?
I mean, I guess the only thing to say is why are they dropping? But
Yeah.
I thought this horse has run really well in both of his turf races and just lays over this field.
That was a race that nobody changed positions.
Right.
We saw here Johnny come back and win the Saranac here
He
on
was
Friday.
5th or 6th in there.
Exactly.
I
fifth.
saw Ray last night. We were
fifth.
arguing about whether or not he wants to go long, and he's like, "Yeah, you were picking on me for running a mile and 3/8," and I agree with him.
Got where he was.
He was in the
thinking
wrong
there.
race because
Yeah.
the race, the way the pace held together. What
Yeah.
I said to him is, mile and 3/8 type horses, the routers, they're more grinder types, and he's kind of an explosive move horse, and those are not usually horses that do better with more distance.
Right.
I don't know if you agree or disagree, but
Oh, no, I 100% agree in that theory. I just thought that watching some of Here's Johnny's races, he actually kind of was grinding things out in some of
yeah,
them.
that's
You know
fair.
what I mean?
That's fair. Listen, I was thrilled for Ray. He won the
He
race,
ran
and
the
he's
best race in that Saranac, hands down,
he's actually.
as the winner.
I think he ran well in his Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
100%.
He had a bad
He did.
trip that day. Inherent Promise seems like the other horse. We'll take a look at the last turf race, and I'd love to see Lisa win a race, but
too.
he's had so many chances and failing, and I don't disagree he's the other horse, but I think doesn't that make Capricious Outcome even more likely to win when this is his chief competition?
Yes. Look, I am one of the. I hold a card as a Lisa Lewis fan club member.
Oh, Lisa's terrific.
She's a wonderful person, and her horses always
She's
look
a good trainer. She's
exceptional.
been a good trainer for years.
I could not agree more. And to be fair, this horse's best effort did come here at Saratoga. It seems as though he's fallen by the wayside since that 3-year-old season in 2024. And, going back to that last race, we saw he was the one who made the first move. But it also kind of speaks to his form in that
Just finds
he
ways to
can't
lose.
finish. He can't just finish the race.
He's an odd horse that is an ofer that actually runs well consistently, but just doesn't win. The funny
Exactly.
horse, obviously, is Crown Moment, who costs, I think, a reasonable amount of money with a big
400
pedigree.
and the equivalent of 430,000
Yeah.
at the Tats yearling sale.
I mean, listen, maybe it's a situation where Miguel says he's just not good enough and we're going to run him for a tag, but that's tough to take that horse with that pedigree.
And two, I mean, the Kingman is a good influence to influx a little bit more of
Speed, right.
But this horse's pedigree says he wants to go 1.5 miles
No, I
on the
agree.
bottom side.
Galileo's the dam. I
and
agree.
I looked at Miguel's numbers, first time starters, maiden claiming on the turf, he's 1 for 12.
No, the horse I thought was a little bit funny at a big price is Harrier. I actually ran to Ars Kingsley yesterday.
So did I.
We were talking about the Grateful Dead for
He
a
was
while.
very excited about running this horse with his daughter aboard.
Yeah, I know. It's his daughter
Yeah.
riding. And he told me
Uh-huh.
that she did have some success riding for Bill Mott down in Florida.
Yep.
We were talking about it a bit.
She's
As I
been
said to
around.
him, I said,
Yeah.
I know he kind of looks ridiculous in there. I don't think he's completely ridiculous.
No.
That race might be a little better than it looks.
Sure.
And he did a little running. He's a bomb I might throw in somewhere. That's all.
I couldn't blame him, but it is nearly a 2-year layoff.
Right,
That was
I know.
my biggest
Well,
problem.
you never know. All right,
Yeah.
take a break. We'll be back with the late pick 4, which includes 2 stakes. Really good races coming up. I thought the stakes.
Where,
came up terrific.
anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch and bet on live horse racing from over 300 tracks worldwide. Get expert picks, play live money betting contests, and boost your bankroll with daily promotions. Naira Bets is the official betting partner of Saratoga Racecourse. Sign up now. New members use promo code SPA200 to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Welcome back to Talking Horses, Maggie and Andy. And I think this Kelso came up. I mean, just
So
an
competitive.
unbelievably good race. And
Usually the cheaper claimers give me headaches. This actually gave me a headache.
this is a super competitive race. No question about it. And a good field. And I'm excited because there have been times we've had a dearth of good sort of milers of the turf. And I don't know if there are any killers out there. But the fact that there are no killers out there makes the races more competitive and makes
Exactly.
people want to run because they're not afraid. And especially as we show the poker, nobody's afraid of Zulu Kingdom after last time. And I guess the real question with him is, how much do you concern that he had a foot issue? He had a foot issue going in. He bit of a big corrective shoe. Chad had mentioned how he'd been dealing, I think, with a quarter crack.
He had
you
a
said?
quarter crack right after the win in the Maker's Mark Mile. He missed a week of training, therefore 2 breezes right after that when he started to get him back to the track. And he thought because he had worked well subsequently after that, he was ready. But in hindsight, yeah, he came up
I'm
a
sure
bit
in
short.
hindsight he feels like, well, I guess
Yeah.
I should have run, but that's easy to say.
Yeah,
And
you don't know.
You know, my problem with Zulu Kingdom is not that. My problem is I've never loved this horse.
I know you haven't.
And I thought his Maker's Mark was the function of a great ride by Flavian.
Yes, it
One
was.
stripe just was really unlucky because he has to be unlucky in every race he's in. He literally could have 3 grade 1s this year. He's run incredibly well in every single one of them.
Yep.
And
Manhattan.
rhetorical, thought Irad overrated him in there, and
He did.
just
I didn't know that. But obviously, he's proven that.
he's better than that.
Yeah.
So I'm just not sure that I really love him in general, and he's going to be a better price today, and he can win. I just like other horses.
I think there's so many interesting horses in here. Look, you have Tiz Dashing on top. I had him in the mix, but then I elevated my boy Prince because of the scratch of Maycox
Well,
Bay.
I want to talk about that as we show Me Bago
And I
next.
think that is the starting point of handicapping this race of how is the pace going to play out.
Well, without Maycox Bay in there, there's now 2 speeds. And
Right.
I could be wrong.
They're both
but
Cassie
I don't
horses.
think that they're going to send. I don't think that owner Gary Barber, who owns both of them, wants to see his two horses dueling.
Right.
And so you have to ask yourself, Mibago's probably the one that goes.
No, see, I disagree with
Really?
you.
Really?
This horse almost beat Notable Speech
I know.
by going to the lead, going a mile. I don't know. And but two, furthermore, he's just, and he comes out of sprint races, so therefore, naturally, he might
He is
be
more
inclined-
reliable. That's fair.
He might be more inclined to break better. I don't love the fact that, you know, Jose goes to Mibago instead of My Boy Prince. I don't know the story behind that, but I don't love that position. And two, he just draws more inside.
Should we be asking Mark before the race?
I think we should.
Yeah,
I think I'll do that.
I think it's a fair question.
And I know
and
he'll
it's an
say,
important
I'm
question.
just going to leave it up to Jose and Dylan.
Does his nose grow while he says that?
No, honestly.
We love Mark. I'm
no,
just teasing.
He's
You
usually
missed that.
so candid.
That's
and
why I say
love
it. He's
him.
a very
Yeah.
yes. Mark's not cagey. He's
No.
So let's talk about the cliffhanger, which involves the horse you picked on top, who I considered putting on top.
Right. So I have my paddock theories about this horse too.
Go ahead.
He just, for a Chad Brown horse coming off a layup, he didn't look that tight. And furthermore, I thought Neat got a spectacular
What a ride he
by
got from
Raylu here. Whereas, you know, he had to wait for the room. He had to go wider. He was a bit wider throughout as well. And furthermore, he looks like that true Kingman, that once a mile. And I know Chad Brown said that in Dave Grenig's article in DRF. That
Yeah, he said to me the other day.
he's probably better going a mile, and I thought the same exact thing in the paddock there at Monmouth. And two, he just seemed a little distracted that day too, and I think just getting back to racing, having that race under his belt is going to set him up for a good performance here.
I think he's extremely dangerous. Also, he did stave ground. He was too wide in the first turn. Manny got him the rail
Got him
before
to
he
the
angled
rail.
out, but you wanted to be
Neat-
on the hedge that day at Monmouth. The rail's
Neat
down,
saved
and Neat
all the
was
ground.
on the rail basically every single step of the way. Got that incredible ride by Raylu, and I agree. I think he's extremely dangerous in here. But, you know, I have my biggest crush on the racetrack is Tiz Dashing.
I know it is.
I'm sorry
I
that
like the cutback.
Javier can't ride him.
I know.
Tyler's riding, and
Right.
I heard from Javier yesterday. He's
Oh, you
hoping to be
did?
back soon, and yes, and we hope he's back beginning next week. We'll find out. I think the key with him is a couple things. I think if he runs this race at Gulfstream and Canadian Turf, he can win. He was just always, and I don't think it was Javi's fault, an outside post. He just always ended up in the wrong position in the maker's mark. He can't go. He's not a mile and 3/16 horse. They took
no.
a shot. He wants less distance.
He wants less
Yeah.
distance with a faster pace
And
in
I
front of him.
thought he had been improving in some of his races down in Florida. We won the Hill Prince. I thought he ran well there, even though stretching to a mile and eighth was probably the limit of what he really wants to do. And I just can't resist him at a square price in here. I think he's
No,
good enough.
I think he's very live. He's kind of, you know, the fifth pick for me, if you will. You know, I thought about even having Neat in there too.
You've got past the hat in there, and I'm
I
not
got
going to argue.
past
He
the
ran
hat.
well last time.
He
He's
ran
improved
really
Forster
well.
Bill.
I mean, if
Yep.
anything,
And he's going to be a
while I
price again.
respect
They'll ignore him
Capitol
again.
Hill,
Yep.
And I know people like Capitol Hill in this spot. He ran the better race, and he won.
I don't
he had
disagree.
the tougher trip. He was applying the pressure to Zulu Kingdom, and he held off the charge of his stable.
And he's a classic mott horse that's
Yeah,
getting
that's
better
getting
and
better
better
with
and,
age.
you know, improving. I am not. We're going to show Cruise the Nile in the dinner party. I don't love Cruise the Nile, but I'll say a couple things. First of all, the mile and eighth is too far for him for his
Correct.
best.
He showed that.
I also think that they
in his
need to
last.
be forward with him. It's not saying in the lead, but they need to get him more in the race because
Well-
we'll see how much speed the others show. And I don't think he has to be that slow like he was in Henry Clark.
No, I agree, but I think there's just faster horses.
No, I'm not. I'm
in
just saying
here.
he could be fourth. I'm not saying he's going to be in the lead. I'm just saying
I
be
think-
a little more forward.
Right. And two, I just think they had to also take too much of a hold of him because he was stretching out
Right.
going a mile and an eighth, and it just
It's just
it
not the way to win
mitigated-
those races.
No, exactly. And his pace did come apart in that
Yes.
in the dinner party.
Where's
as
Suburban
well.
for Toby?
Oh, he got a terrible trip at Laurel last week.
Oh, he ran down there? Oh. Well, Tom did finally get a little good luck yesterday. By the way, we will be taping a Stewards review on Thursday with Victor, so you'll want to tune in to discuss yesterday's DQ.
Look, I'll take it. I mean,
I was texting with Tom after, and he's like, I can't believe I got put up.
Neither of us
I
can.
said, well, you took a lot of tough
Ricardo
beats.
left. We took like a European style picture with the horse like untacked next to us. Like
Yeah, he
left.
was surprised, and I think a lot of us were. First of all, I was not involved. I had bet the donk horse, who didn't get the best of trips, but was nowhere at the finish. I don't like seeing 20-to-1 shots particularly taken down, and
I can't
I'll
believe-
have a
I-
long discussion with Victor about. I do understand the foul. I don't believe there was a phantom foul. I believe there was a foul, but I don't believe that justice was served in this particular circumstance.
No, and I
think
don't think it was, so I've always been under the understanding that if a horse gets struck in the face, that is a foul. But the rider of the 8 is the one who struck our filly in the face. Not that he meant to do it by any means, but she finished behind us.
they're not automatic DQs, you know that in
not
New York.
automatic
They are
DQs.
in some jurisdictions.
Okay.
They're not in New York.
Growing up in Maryland, they were automatic.
Yes, they're
Yeah.
not. That's a misconception.
Right.
I also think, and I think Victor will probably say this on Thursday, they're a little hamstrung by some pretty mediocre rules. And one of the
Absolutely.
things that racing suffers from is all these different rules in all different places, and there need to be, and Victor has
Universal
said this, there
rules.
need to be cohesive universal rules.
No, Victor's a big
And-
proponent of that,
yes.
and I'm sure it gets frustrating for him
Right,
to
so-
have to abide by the
We will be
randomness.
discussing it on Thursday. You'll want to tune in and see that one. Race number 7. I don't have a lot to say about race number 7. To me,
Really?
I think it's cut and dry like our picks. The 8 is the horse to
Yeah,
beat.
we all
Liberty's
agree.
Advance was against the racetrack, ran faster figs last year. Is the horse to beat.
And it's-
but
and
we
it-
both want Liberty Secret at a better price.
And
right?
Liberty Secret ran in a pretty tough field.
I agree, and ran fine in there.
She ran fine. She
Gets
got
it-
tired
gets
chasing.
Dillon,
you know,
Lasix.
Exactly. No, the 8 is right, like you said.
It's a horse to beat, but
Well,
the
can
3
we-
is the other horse.
Are we running out of time? Can we
No,
just
we've got
talk
plenty of
about the
time.
first-time starters real quick?
No, we have 20 minutes, Maggie.
Okay. So Midnight Honor Barkley Tag has back-to-back gate breezes, but from what I saw, I liked in that last gate breeze,
Okay.
which was here. She was by herself. She broke very well. She's going to have to from the rail, of course. And Army Mule is obviously very good with his dirt sprinters and hits at 26% with his first-time starting older horses. Which
Yet
I
you
thought-
have him nowhere.
I didn't love the back-to-back gate breezes.
Okay.
I did have him in the mix.
Do you think
earlier.
that's always a concern? It means they have sort of gate issues?
Well, then that's the thing. Lively Pal has 4 consecutive gate issues. It's one of 2 things, generally speaking, and I can see it. Midnight Honor. Look, I'm a little remiss. I don't have Midnight Honor in there. I'll be perfectly honest. And with her, it's probably she broke slow on June 19th. Barkley said, "Let's get her a little sharper." The biggest problem is Lively Pal. She has 4 consecutive ones, and she, conceivably broke well in some of those, at Belmont. Sometimes it's a horse that doesn't want to train, and so the only way to get them to go is break them out of the gate.
Interesting.
That's just been my experience. I don't know if that is the deal with her, but I did think that was an interesting.
I didn't want the
intangible.
2 in there, the first are for Miguel, that David has a
I know
second
what this
choice,
was
because
either.
I'm not betting looking at Lucky's to win at 6 furlongs first time out.
And it's long pedigree on the bottom side too, for the most part.
Yeah, it just feels like at best they're probably
And
looking for a
watching
start.
10-3. I mean, it was that weird Timonium
Oh,
sale.
right.
She just looked like she wanted to go
Yeah,
longer.
I just didn't want anybody else in here. I agree, Robbie Medina's horse is a little bit interesting, finally
I thought
facing New
Carmen
York Reds on
Amalia
dirt.
was a little bit interesting too.
Which one?
Carmen Amalia, it's a much more of a dirt pedigree on the bottom side at least.
Oh,
and,
okay.
Dave stuck
I
her
agree.
in
I agree.
because Why not take advantage with the combatants in the New York Stallion Series race?
Yeah, no, I agree. And getting
Gets Johnny,
Yeah.
Lasix.
Nothing against DeLeo, rode well, but
Yeah.
it's John Velasquez. It is a rider improvement. I'm sure she'd agree. Race number 8. Well, I mean, I'm not sure. I think DeLeo's good. I think she
I
rides
do
well.
too.
I'm just saying
100%.
that he's just,
It's
he's
Johnny
a
V.
Hall of Fame rider.
Winningest rider as Saratoga
Right.
in
So,
history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and I obviously have somewhat similar opinions in this race coming up in the Harvey Pack, and named for my good friend Harvey Pack. And I think, something to remember about Harvey, obviously he's a very popular figure, but to me, this race is a nod to horse players. Because
Yes.
Harvey was the horse players advocate in the New York Racing Association and in the
Yeah.
game in general for so many years. And I think that in naming a race for him is a way of obviously honoring Harvey and his accomplishments in racing, but also saying something for horse players. And I think that was one of the reasons that the decision was made.
Somebody retweeted that thing. That
Think with
he
him and
did.
Axe?
Oh my God. That was so
he and
good.
Pete Axthelm taking the
So
train out to, and when they
From
encounter the
Manhattan to
hooker
the
on the way to the train. I think Harvey said that NBC was mad at them about the hooker thing at the beginning of it. Yeah,
It was so
tremendous,
good.
tremendous.
So good.
If you haven't seen it,
Oh,
it's so
on
great.
Twitter somewhere. You can find it.
Yeah, and I think it's
Trust
on
me.
YouTube. You can also
Yep.
find it. It's Harvey
Yep.
and Pete Axthelm. And you know, Pete was really, as a kid, knowing Pete was one of my favorite guys. As we bring and take a look at Detroit last year when 26 Black ran second, I understand that Bring Me Back Home brings his form from last year. He's going to be tough to beat in here.
Nice speed
and
from Maru.
I know with the 5 scratching, it takes out some speed, though I imagine that Joel will be a little bit forward with Boss Sully. I realize he's going to win with last year's form. I am not going to just accept that he's going to be the same horse coming back this year.
I think that's fair.
Just
I mean,
completely fell apart last year.
exactly. Or is he a horse that just 100% loves Saratoga?
Maybe.
And he also loves 5.5. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, as opposed to 5. Maybe.
yeah,
He's
because he gets a little out sprinted going the 5, whereas a 5.5 allows it. You know, it's so funny in these turf sprints. We talk about such a small difference in distance, but they can make the biggest difference in how speed horses perform.
Well, the funny thing is, I think the 5.5s are better for closers than the 6s because the paces are faster.
Well, exactly.
So it's such a different animal. I think a lot of people think, oh, a 6 horse can get up. They can't. 26 Black to me
I love
is also in raging form. I thought
He's
he
a
ran
pet.
extremely well in the Jaipur last time. Man, he was victimized by that post, and he just got caught out in the middle of the racetrack. There was nothing he could do.
Absolutely, against the best turf sprinters that we have in the country. I thought he needed his start against Warolo, who obviously came back and ran very well in the New York bred stake. And
I love Warolo.
they're both my pets a little bit. I love.
He
I'm
is
always
so game, Warolo.
so game.
Horses
Because his
come
ears
to him
go
and he
in,
just
and then he
keeps
goes,
chugging along.
away.
Yeah.
So I'm a big 26 Black fan, but I do respect Bring the Band Home
course.
just for his Saratoga form, for the fact that he has that early speed. I agree, Bosselli could keep him company up there. You know, I just thought it was those two.
Well, I
you
want
like
to
the
talk about Joe
Bosselli.
Sharp's horse, Pasolmonte, and show the race last time. And I think
Pasolamente.
there may be there is an opinion that he's a better synthetic horse. I
Yeah.
completely and totally disagree with this.
I don't-
And I actually liked him and thought he ran pretty well in that turf sprint at Churchill.
only horse to make
We're-
up ground.
Only horse to close that race. And he actually ran very well, trying to close in
Yeah.
traffic. If you look at his synthetic races going long, they're really not better than his turf races going long.
He's a sprinter.
He's a sprinter.
Yeah.
They just spent too much of his career running with the wrong distances.
Right.
I think he's a turf sprinter, and I think he is a huge player in this race.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I have him third.
I have the replay because I want to show Outlaw Kid and Chasing Liberty. We'll show Chasing Liberty winning last time at Laurel.
They flip-flopped. You know, Chasing Liberty had a little bit of a better trip last time.
I thought so too.
So, you know.
And
I
Outlaw
was-
Kid did not have a great trip last time. No surprise.
Right.
I just don't know if they're as good as the best horses here. But he's
That's the way
a
I
neat
thought.
horse, and maybe he's improving for Rob. He's a 4-year-old.
He's a
His last 2
4-year-old,
races are his
exactly.
best races, and maybe he's just getting better. And I don't want to discount a horse. And Rob's horse has been running very well. That might just be getting better.
No, I saw it. I thought this race, you know, I feel like the poker could have some chaos. You could maybe get a price in, but I thought this race just looked very formful.
I agree. I think Boss Sully is the one sort of wild card coming in here, the 6-year-old, and
I just don't
Joel
know
riding
who
well.
they face out there.
The
you know,
turf
if I
sprinters are
feel-
usually not as good out there
Exactly.
as
I
they
mean,
are
ran
here.
against Reef Runner, obviously, but at Del Mar last
Yeah, but he also
August.
got beaten by a city block.
Yeah.
That was that weird DQ, right? That was the race
Oh,
before
yeah,
the
yeah,
Pacific
yeah,
Classic.
Yeah.
All right, we will move on to the final race. The final race today is one of the best races all day.
It's interesting.
I'm curious what you did. You went slightly different than me. We'll start by showing the horse you have on top. Mr. Tertonic, the race 2 back, running third. Jamie Rodriguez is riding this, and once again, we hope Javi's able to get back soon. He's obviously a horse that is much better going long, and he's getting better.
He is getting better, isn't he? And obviously, I mean, look, it's 2 miles last time, but again, those are much better horses, and I think
He didn't run badly.
He ran respectably.
May have been a
well.
little too far for him, honestly.
He's right. So 1.5 miles, he draws so well here. You know, just they're actually for a 1.5 mile race. Feels like there's some horses that'll go forward in here. I think he projects to possibly be mid-pack, and therefore he saves ground.
He's very logical. I
Very
think
logical.
there's a few horses to talk about that we know can run the distance. And the other ones, and it's important to note, the 13 gets in.
Yeah, he's dangerous.
See, I think that Fort Thomas ran the better of the two, and you obviously do too. You have him third and fourth.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And was wider, made the first move. This is a significant
He
rider
went
up
4 to 5
change.
wide around that
Yeah,
turn and kick clear, and that was too
And now
much
you
too
get
soon.
Jose Ortiz riding.
Exactly.
I think he's super logical off of that race for us.
I like
coming
this
in.
horse. I know I have, the 1 in 10 in front of him, but Fort Thomas for me is a very logical type in here. And I put Right Off Jerry just because, it's Maker going 1.5 miles, which this horse consistently shows up in these types of spots.
No, I don't disagree. I think that the 5, it's funny, David picked the 5. I've been thinking about putting him higher. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I just look at him, I look at his pedigree, and I think this horse is going to get better with distance.
I completely
I think
agree.
he's the wild card.
He's
He's obviously not good enough to win this race based on his form. He's got to really improve with distance.
But the pedigree is there. But, and it's funny, with 3-year-olds taking on older company, which he has, and he's run well, but that was at Laurel, to be fair. I feel like, obviously maiden 3-year-olds taking on older company, they're probably better.
Yeah,
but,
I get what you're saying.
These accomplished horses who have won several races, some of them, and are older, I just don't.
Is that a little bit your knock on the 10, or you put second? Because Noble Dynasty's race at Keeneland, 2 back at mile 3/16, and there's a big difference between
Mind
the
you, he's a
distance.
little bit of a pet. I've always loved this horse. So
Well, he doesn't break well. He gets
Right.
completely and totally shuffled out.
Yep.
And it's important to note, this race was won wire to wire.
Right.
And I thought he
By a
ran,
nice
you know,
horse.
we're going to pick it up around the 3/8 pole. We can go to the 3/8 pole at this point. I mean, he makes this, look at him, he's all the way in the far, far outside. He makes an incredible, long, sustained, wide run.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I agree about this horse. I tell you what, I thought he didn't kind of put it together. I thought he was going to be better last year than he was. But I
Right.
think he's run well in both of his races so far this year. He was just in tough last time. And this horse, he ran huge in here.
and he came back to compliment that as well. So, no, Noble Dynasty, I wholeheartedly respect. I just thought that when you look at their running styles, their post positions, that Mr. Tonic projects to get possibly a better trip.
I don't disagree. I don't have a problem with it. He could certainly win. I love those races. Jeremiah says he did not, apparently not allowed to. He had 3 slices of chicken marsala pizza.
What? Come
Is
on,
Uncle Sam
Maya?
giving them out too, Maya? Uncle Sam
Always
made my
your
day
hot
yesterday. Hot dogs. Anyway, excellent card today, Maggie. Always
It
a
really
pleasure.
is.
Thank you for watching. Head over to Naira Bets. Use the promo code SPA200. We'll match with $200 initial deposit, and we'll keep saying it. We are now live in New Jersey, so head on over if you're in New Jersey. Now you can sign up for Naira Bets. We have other things.
Other things.
$185,000 carryover for the Pick 6. Starts in race number 4. $10 bonus. You're running Woodbine and Saratoga. Opt in at Naira Bets. You're playing both. Bet 50 or more. We have, and that Pick 6, I mean, this Pick 6, I don't think it's going to be super chalky. I think it's playable, but I think it's a good sequence. You can text WIN to 467-737 to enter to get this signed pennant. I think Irad's back Saturday. He's definitely not here Friday.
Do we know
Obviously,
why
Fridays.
he's not here? Right?
He's suspended for.
Is it 5 days?
Well, I think it was one day. Maybe it was one day from Delaware or something. I think it was
Okay.
like 4, and then there was a day at Delaware or
Okay.
something.
Okay.
It's hard to keep track.
Yeah.
What else do we have? We have the Cross Country Big 5 Monmouths running, 2 there, 3 here, including 3 total stakes, and 1 to 6 on FS1. 9 race card. Starts out with the Leo O'Brien, honoring Leo O'Brien, of course, the popular trainer 4-star Dave, but he was much, much more than that. So I think it's
was.
pretty cool. And the other thing, it's a neat thing. I know we ran a couple of recent jump races at Aqueduct.
Yeah.
Prior to bringing the jump race there, because we run with Belmont, I believe that Leo rode the winner of the last Aqueduct jump race.
I think
feel
you're
like
right. I
Joe
feel like
told me that, Clancy.
That's right. Joe said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think
That's
is very,
really
very cool. I actually, up until that point, I hadn't even realized Leo rode in jump races. So.
It's quite a remarkable career that he
Yeah,
had.
no, and a good guy, and it's nice to have
Yeah.
the race name for him. Maggie, thanks again, and thank you. Frank Miramani, the voice of Saratoga, will be up with a reprise, scratches and changes in just a few minutes.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch and bet on live horse racing from over 300 tracks worldwide. Get expert picks, play live money betting contests, and boost your bankroll with daily promotions. Naira Bets is the official betting partner of Saratoga Racecourse. Sign up now. New members use promo code SPA200 to claim your $200 deposit